like to welcome you to Future New Zealand. In this video we want to paint a bit of a picture of what the party's all about, and it's a great privilege for me to be able to lead Future New Zealand because we have such an outstanding team of people who have already laid their volunteer money and time on the plate to serve New Zealanders. And I really believe the calibre of team that we've got, the policies that we have, that concerning future families, future industry, future education, it just really very lateral thinking and exciting.
Leadership is necessary. People need good leadership. A leader needs the skills, the attributes and the desire and even the passion to lead and to lead effectively. We're delighted to advise that we have identified and appointed such a person, Anthony Walton, a young man who has already achieved what many people will only ever dream about. A young man with energy, enthusiasm, ability, intelligence and a care and concern for people, all people, young and old. He has a fascination and passion for good government, not old politics. And with a vast experience with people and organisations and sport and business, he has had a great grounding for political leadership, but with none of the political baggage. He has been on our National Council since the formation of the party in 1995. Anthony is married to Teresa and they have 4 beautiful children. So on behalf of our National Council, I commend Anthony to you as the new leader of Future New Zealand. Anthony Walton.
One of the things that really causes Future New Zealand to stand out on its own is its people. Leadership is the key to success of any organisation. The difference between great organisations, great communities and ones that aren't so great is leadership. And so I really believe that we don't come just with a leader but also with a team of leaders throughout the country of New Zealand. And we have forming probably 3 or 4 Māori seats coming on board, and people that just want to serve the vision of Future New Zealand. And that's what we have. We have a plan for New Zealand. We have a vision for the future. We have a thinking of ourselves as a nice little island off the desert of Australia, a nice little garden off the desert of Australia, but see ourselves as a state of the world from which we can do business as good from New Zealand as any country of the world. We need to have a different perception of ourselves. We can do business from New Zealand as well as maintain a first-class lifestyle. And my friend Scott Hillstrom has chosen to live in New Zealand and run his global business from this country because of the lifestyle. Our primary natural resource is not sheep and dairy products, but it is creative, innovative people. And we are the most internet-connected country in the world, which is really the key to future trade. It is also a problem for the tax department in its undermining of revenue, but it is important that we understand that global expansion is the key to the future of New Zealand. I think the way we've sort of got things at the moment, we've had politicians playing around with various pieces of the jigsaw puzzle, and they've changed the picture on each piece, and it doesn't fit together and form a complete picture. And I believe Future New Zealand is developing that plan and has some great ideas in delivering social services through non-profit organisations, delivering better local government. I don't think it should be called local government. I think community government is probably a better name. And we have great ideas in the area of education. Imagine, for instance, developing parents as the first teacher and involving them in a partnership with principals and teachers and government leaders and big business in developing the future of our young people. Education is a critical priority to cope with the rapid change that we will face in the future. Tony Blair said, higher education standards are the key to international competitiveness and an inclusive society for the future. New Zealand is number 7 in the world in its expenditure on education, but number 18 to 22 in its delivery of results. And a number of people key. That's exactly what we have a passion about. And a recent survey shows that 2 out of 5 children don't even. And so education is the key to the future. Education begins at home. The parent or parents are still the primary teacher, the builder, and all others the contractors. The family is the principal social, economic and educational unit. Culture and society is made up of relationships, and relationships are learned in the family. I mean, there are 27,000 marriages in New Zealand, and they end up being parents, and they're not being taught, they're not being trained. Our customer is being let down. And it doesn't matter where you are politically in your thinking or how politically correct you are, we've got to serve what people are into, and they're into relationships. In our schools we're taught safe sex, but we need to be taught safe relationships as the context of sexual relations. We will strongly support the farmers and their endeavours, and indeed all businesses seeking to export their ideas, their products into the global marketplace. Future New Zealand will find ways to give incentives to those going over the edge to do business globally. Future New Zealand promotes the New Zealand brand system. Next week, an organisation in Washington are flying me to launch Global Tribe America, an action, adventure and character-based education program throughout their schools, and they have already gained permission and access to those schools. Sometimes we've got to get mad before change will happen. And talking with people, you know, the number one thing that came through constantly in going into politics was that they're sick of old politics. They're sick of seeing the arguing and the bickering and the constant fighting. I don't know how we're going to keep out of that, but certainly we're going to try. For me, this is not just all talk. It's not just talk, because I have been involved for years at the grassroots level of helping New Zealanders solve their problems. Involved with psychiatric patients, listening, having them in their homes, street kids. I'm involved in creating programs for youth, involved in other countries throwing parties in orphanages in Vietnam, in India, in Romania, in the Romanian Child Aid program. I've been involved in these different areas of life that affect people. And I believe I can bring that into politics and bring a change in the areas that really need to be changed. So thank you very much. Vote for us, vote for future politics, and certainly be a part of what we're doing in the future.
The newest face in Christian politics, Anthony Walton, replaces one of the oldest, Graham Lee. And the new party is taking on some of the issues other Christian politicians have campaigned on, such as homosexuality.
I think it's the condescending, arrogant way in which some groups may put those principles across. And so that sort of bigoted attitude is what we want to keep right out of.
For his church.
Coming to the end of your life is pretty scary.
Walton has, though, received the endorsement of a sitting independent MP, Deborah Morris, who won't become a member, but welcomes Future New Zealand's entrance.
I think the importance on the family, the importance of us being internationally competitive, all of those things are very, very important, and they are things that I can support, but there are some issues that we're just a bit too different on.
Walton's church is well known within Wellington, and the city's mayor is also a supporter of Walton.
People will like what he says, and people will be drawn to him, and he'll listen and he'll move forward, and I take my hat off to him.
Future New Zealand is aiming for 12% of the vote next election. Jason Rhodes, 3 News.
Well, I don't know about you, but I'm sick to death of Christianity being represented as this negative thing, that we're always against something, we're always putting something down. I believe Future New Zealand is a party where we want to represent a God that is generous, that is positive, that is relational, that is rational, that is going to serve instead of just be served. And I believe as a party in Future New Zealand, we can make a difference with our biblical worldview, because they are principles that do not break under strain. They are principles that don't change. You just break yourself against them, you don't ever really break them. The reality is, we as a party, I believe, as we unite together as a body of Christ, can have a servant influence in the government of New Zealand. I took over from Graham Lee, who served for 30 years, and now we've called the party Future New Zealand to really send the message to New Zealanders that we're not just about our own agenda as Christians. We want to serve you. And I believe that we as a party can do that. Norway just recently had a great experience where a political leader there, a political party similar to ours, a Christian party, and that particular party won 18% of the vote because they saw Tony Blair read the scriptures at Diana's funeral. And then they voted, and the previous party said, if we don't get enough votes to rule or to bring good government, then we'll go into coalition. They went into coalition with that party. They made the leader of that party the Prime Minister of Norway. And so out of 19 in cabinet, there are 13 born-again Christians. You've got to understand, just because you're born again doesn't mean you're going to save the country. 13 born-again spinners would ruin a country and send it under. But in this case, they took it from being in debt to being prosperous country, to being in the black. And I believe that we can do that as a country. I believe that the church can have that influence.
Now, many people watching this video may be asking, how can we be involved? As a party, we're starting to make traction, and the last polls in the New Zealand Herald showed that we're only 2.1% behind ACT, 3.3% behind New Zealand First, 6.1% behind the Alliance Party. So we're doing very well, and I believe with your help, and as you get involved, we can do even better. We've still got to raise a bit of finance. We've started a thing called the 100 Club, where we want 100 people to give $50 a week, and that will finance our entire campaign. So if you can be involved at that level, please, or anything you can contribute, we certainly would welcome it. We have our teams that are covering most of the electorates of the country. In fact, just about all electorates now are covered. We have 3 or 4 Māori seats which we'll be able to field candidates in. We have so many things. We have a full-time person in the Auckland office, Denise Crum, doing an outstanding job. She's Graham Lee's daughter. We have Bex Lehman, who's working in our Wellington office, and myself getting around the country and doing various launches. I've done launches in a beautiful orchard in Warkworth. I've been up to Kaitaia and launched the party there. Been in Hamilton, been in New Plymouth, where we launched Tom Smithers, who's a surfboard manufacturer for 30 years. And we had a big marquee, crayfish, drink. It was just an outstanding time. People in the New Plymouth community got involved and really got excited about the party. The Mayor opened it there. We have various mayoralties around the country. They're very excited about our policy concerning central and local government, and so they're willing to speak out for our party. So there's lots of great things happening. If you want to get involved, phone the number on this video, get a hold of the pamphlet, get a hold of our local representative, but make the effort. We've only got 7 months until election, and New Zealand really needs a party like Future New Zealand that is concerned about the future families, about future industry, about future education. Future New Zealand is new generation politics, and I believe will make a positive difference.